Good evening, everyone. Welcome to this week's episode of the Necromaniacs Horror Podcast. How's it going, Jeff?
Going pretty good, man.
You know, it's going.
Yeah.
We're recording this on Sunday,
hmm
and I'm excited because tonight the new House of the Dragon show, the
Oh,
new season kicks off tonight. So there's a 70-minute premiere episode coming up this evening. So I'm looking forward to that.
is that the third season, second season? What's how far?
Season 3.
Ah, okay. All right. Never seen that show. Never seen Game of Thrones. I say it all the time. One of these days, I will get to it.
It might not be your cup of tea, but I love all that stuff.
That's cool too. Like how I can't think of the last time I was excited about a new season of a show. I feel like it's been a while.
Yeah, I mean, there's some things I like. Actually, I think I might have mentioned it to you or Mike. There's that Widow's Bay show that's on Apple.
Yeah, I was just gonna mention that.
Yeah.
I think Brandon Legion mentioned that show to me, or maybe it was you. I can't recall. But anyway, the YouTube channel I like just mentioned that show,
Yeah.
saying that it's one of the best things on right now, and now I want to check it out.
Yeah, I know Brandon. Brandon actually is the one who turned me onto it. Like
Okay.
I was aware of it, but he gave it the green light. So then I checked it out. And I really, really enjoy it. And when I first saw something about it, I think on YouTube,
hmm
it's and indicated that it was a horror comedy, which is not my thing at all.
Right. Right. Yeah.
But it's actually, once Brandon told me about it, I was like, fuck, man, this is really fucking good, man. And now if you want to watch it, you can just bang the whole season out. It's done. It's wrapped up, so you can watch
What
it.
What's it streaming on?
It's on Apple.
Ah, shit. I don't have. I like. Do I? I don't know. I don't even know
Yeah,
what streaming
Apple.
services I have.
Apple is sick, man. They're killing it. They have so much good stuff on there. They got Severance, which is great. But the fucked up thing is no one knows about any of their shows. You know what
I
I mean?
know.
It's like
Yeah.
they got all this great stuff on there. There was Servant, which is like another like weird tale. Like actually, they're when it comes to weird fiction, man, weird tales, Servant and Severance are fucking
Mm.
sick. And even Widow's Bay has some tinges of Lovecraft in it too.
Man, yeah, I'm gonna have to figure. I did watch Severance, but I had Apple a few years ago. I believe I don't have it anymore, but I'm
Yeah,
gonna get to that somehow.
yeah, Severance rules, man. It's like
I
total like
yeah,
Thomas Ligotti kind of shit.
I loved the first season. Was a little lukewarm on aspects of the second season. We'll see where it goes. I still maintain season one of Severance was perfect, and if they never did another season, I would be completely satisfied with what we got.
Yeah, I just and you should check out Servant too.
Yeah, I've heard that from several people as well. That's Shyamalan, right?
I think so. Yeah, it's got Claire from 6 Feet Under in it.
Claire, she was the daughter, right?
Yeah, the redhead.
Oh, okay. God, that was a great show too.
She looks exactly the same, dude.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Creepy. Yeah, Dexter was in that show too.
Yeah, Dexter was in it. That guy. That like Hispanic dude was in it.
Yeah. That guy. What's his name? He was in Harsh Times with Christian Bale.
That was a good movie.
It was a great movie.
Yep. That lady who was also in American Horror Story and that old
Yep.
guy and the old guy.
Yeah,
You
the
know,
old guy. Yeah, we just broke it all down for you people.
I don't remember anyone's names, you know.
Speaking of old shows, I've been watching stuff again, and right now, I am doing a rewatch of Rescue Me. Do you remember that show, Dennis
With
Leary?
Dennis Leary, yeah.
Yeah. I'm a Dennis Leary fan. I know he is kind of looked down upon as a sub Bill Hicks or whatever. But I always liked Dennis Leary, and I did enjoy the first season of Rescue Me a lot. I think it really falls off sharply around season 3 to season 7, but I'm on season 2 right now. And yeah, it's fun. It's crazy to me that that show started in 2004, which is somehow like fucking forever ago now.
I fuck with Dennis Leary. He reminds me of just people that we probably know from Boston.
Yeah, he is very much a Boston guy for sure.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
he's a good actor too. You know what I mean? Aside from being, his comedy career is cool, but I like seeing him in films.
Yeah. He's usually pretty good in films. I'm trying to think of something he was in film. Oh, here we go, right there. Monument Ave.
Great movie.
Great movie. He worked with director Ted Demme quite a bit, who did that, The Ref. He was the creator of Yo MTV Raps. But Monument Ave is a incredibly underrated Boston crime movie, which also stars Greg Dooley of the Afghan Wigs as like a low level kind of hitman, which is a
Yeah.
kind of amusing to see.
Crime movies that take place in Boston are always like a little grimier, you know what I mean? There's like this kind of low rent like quality to all the the criminals and stuff like that.
Yeah,
Just
oh,
like
absolutely. And,
yeah.
we both lived there. I lived there for 7 years. You probably lived there for like 10,
No,
12.
no, dude. I lived there less than you did.
Really?
Yeah, I remember I moved away like when you guys were still living there.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, I lived
I
there.
only lived there for like 5, 6 years.
You really get it though when have lived there.
Dude,
You,
it takes years off of your life when you live in Boston if you're not from that town. You know what I mean? It's
yeah, totally.
dude, it is so hard to meet women there. It is like so hard to you get you're like the ultimate outsider in that town unless you're from Boston. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, I might have had a different experience with that.
Yeah, all right.
um,
Well, I for me, I'm way better in New York, dude. I don't know.
okay,
It's just
okay.
maybe I think I find people friendlier. I think like if you're single and you want to meet interesting, cool women, New York's definitely the place over Boston. I'm probably offending someone out there, but that's just my experience as like a native New Yorker. Sorry about that.
um, other things I've checked out. Like I said, I watched a bunch of stuff. Saw some really cool Shudder movies. I mentioned to you. I won't go too into them because I think these are movies we should cover. One of them was the movie Marshmallow from
Yeah, I want to see.
2024. Yeah, I I'm recommending it. It's very cool summer camp horror movie that does not go where you think it's going to go. It starts as a very like, like, oh, this is a better than average, summer camp slasher kind of thing, and it goes in a completely different direction. Another movie I checked out was Dead Mail. Have you heard of this?
Another film that you recommended to me that I'm on. It's on my list of things to watch.
Very, very good. It felt like I was watching some sort of like European film from the 80s or something. That's the kind of vibe it had. It feels like maybe it was shot on like 16 millimeter. It's just got this very, very grimy look.
That's cool.
Yeah, really like that. Catching up on movies from this year, I watched Sam Raimi's Sent Help. Did you see that?
Not yet, no. But that we're doing pretty good this year for films. I think it's starting to pick up a little bit.
It definitely is. I think we should cover Sent Help.
Okay.
I will save my thoughts, but
Yeah. Well, anything with Raimi, I'm down to at least check out.
yeah, I said the same thing, but like, man, it's been a while since he's really done something I loved. I mean, that Doctor Strange movie he did, I did not care for at all. I mean, I saw it and I could not tell you a single thing about it. It's completely went in one ear and out the other. And I was trying to think of the last Raimi film that I really, really enjoyed. And it might be A Simple Plan from
Really?
God, that was like
That was like
2001, maybe.
that was like over 20 years ago, man.
Yeah. I mean, he did that Wizard of Oz prequel that was just, I don't, again, forgettable. Like he seems to be just turning out studio Hollywood slop. And Send Help is a little bit more of a return to form, but you know, you watch it and you tell me what you think.
Yeah, I mean, I'm down, man. I mean, I always give him some credit, for
Sure.
creating the Evil Dead, which is like the first two Evil Dead films I think are fantastic. And
I like all three of them.
yeah, Army of Darkness is cool, but once again, dives too heavily into the comedy aspects of it for me. But I dig it though; it's cool.
Yeah. I think Evil Dead 2 balanced the horror comedy much better.
Yeah, the first
Uh,
one was just fucking mental, man. I love the first one.
the first one's like a flat out horror film. I think people forget that the first one's really not like tongue in cheek funny. It's just like a ultra low budget, film made by a bunch of friends.
Yeah,
which is why to me the remake could never capture the spirit of that. I'm not a fan of
Nah,
the Evil Dead remake or
no.
the new sequel. Or we covered the last one,
Yeah,
Evil
dude.
Dead, what Evil Dead Rise or something.
You know, what they're doing with it now is an abomination, man.
I haven't seen anything with the new ones, but I know they're coming.
Well, just even that Evil Dead Rise or whatever the hell it's called, that
Yeah,
sucked. And
yeah, that
then
was not
there's
good. Yeah,
yeah, and then there's like this. There's a couple other ones coming out too, which look underwhelming.
yeah. Um, Other than that, I picked up some more records. Picked up a great record from this band Ulver. Are you familiar
Oh
with
yeah,
Ulver?
dude. Yeah, they're great, man. Of course, yeah.
Yeah, I was unaware that they were like a straight up Norwegian black metal band
In
at
the
one
in the
point.
beginning, yeah, but now they're more like film score style, music.
Yes, that must
Yeah.
be what I picked up. I picked up the album Drone Activity. Um,
Some
Sick
of it
record.
some of it reminds me of like Boran and the Cult of Gore. Some of it.
Born Under Club of Gore. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And I know they collaborated with Sun in the past, and really enjoyed that record that they did together. And yeah, just picked it up. It was used. It was fairly inexpensive and really really good. And I found went to like this used record store and found this record with the cover of Scanners on its
Oh,
cover. Like,
interesting. Okay.
yeah, I'm like, this is some sort of. It's not the score to Scanners. It's by someone named Thelma, and the album's called Inferial,
Hmm.
and it was inspired by the film Scanners.
That's interesting. That sounds
Yeah,
cool.
it was $12, so I thought, why not? If it sucks, I'm only out $12, and it doesn't suck. It's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
So those are two records I recommend as well. What have you been up to, Mike? I've been rattling on here for 10 minutes.
Well, first, before I get started, just shout out to all the ladies of New York City and New Jersey. You know what I mean? Just, I see you, I appreciate you, you know? So just that, I just want to get that off my chest after talking about Boston for so long,
Yeah, then I'd like to offer my apologies to the girls of Boston. Carry on.
Yeah. My wife's from Jersey, so that's
Ah, okay.
mainly what I'm
Nice.
talking about.
Excellent.
Yeah. What have I seen? Okay, so last night actually, I watched. I've seen this movie before, but it popped up on one of the YouTube channels I follow. A Prayer Before Dawn. It's not a horror film. Well, it's not a actual horror film, but it portrays some horrific things in it, though. Have you heard
Hmm.
of that film?
It sounds familiar. Maybe I'm thinking of Prayer Before Dying. What year? Who's in it?
Some Frenchman made it. There's a guy this British guy's in it, and, and I think a bunch of dudes from Thailand. So
No,
yeah,
I haven't seen it.
all right, yeah. I was very unprepared, but movie's great. It's like this white guy is in Thailand. He's a boxer. He gets involved with drugs. He gets thrown in Thai jail.
Ooh,
Yeah, dude, it's intense, man. It's a bleak, brutal movie. And
wow.
yeah, and then there's also a Muay Thai angle in it too, where he just to kind of stay alive, he starts training with the fighters,
Okay.
and that's how
Okay.
he ultimately, I guess they have this thing in Thailand where if you you can box your way to freedom, so
Okay.
that's how he got out of jail. So um,
Interesting.
yeah, very very intense movie, bleak, brutal. Um, when they're speaking Thai, there's no subtitles.
Oh, that's helpful.
Yeah, no, but it just adds to the isolation of the film because like the guy is just in this situation and like there's people conspiring against him and they're speaking to each other in Thai and he doesn't know what they're talking about or if they're talking about something else and like it just
It's
looks
not
rough.
supposed to have subtitles then.
No, it's not supposed to have subtitles because when they speak English, they have the subtitles
Ah, okay.
because like their accents are so heavy. You know what I mean?
Oh, wow. I watched a movie called More, the French movie that had no subtitles once, and I think it was supposed to. Um, but I was so high out of my mind, I enjoyed the film anyway.
Yeah.
um, anyway, carry on.
And it's just good. And the fight scenes are very they're like long cuts. Like they're not your typical like fight scenes in films. You know,
Mm.
like when they're fighting in the ring, it looks like you're watching a fight. And some of the dudes that they got to be in the movie are guys like not the famous ties, but the dudes that maybe fought on the lower levels that never really achieved any fame. So it's a really really interesting movie that kind of, you know, what attracted me originally was the fact that it had all the fighting in it, you know what I mean?
Mm.
But it was a
Yeah.
completely different type of film than I anticipated. Like I saw this movie like 10 years ago, and like I
Oh, it's
said,
older.
yeah, it popped up in like my feed. Someone was discussing it. I was like, yeah, let me check this out again. And I actually I own it on Apple, so I just watched it again.
No, okay.
Yeah.
That no, I like the title kind of sounds familiar, but I don't think I've even ever heard of that.
A24 put it out.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Well, anything they do is worth checking out, I think.
Yeah, at least checking out, definitely. And then in preparation for the oncoming Insidious movie,
Oh boy.
we watched all five of those this past
There's
week.
five?
I think so, yeah.
Oh
All
my
five
God.
films. Yeah, five. Yeah, total. Of course, I watched them.
I've seen two or three.
Um, I'm gonna. I saw the very first one, and it wasn't my jam at all. But
Yeah.
my wife likes those movies, and she wants to
Hmm.
go see the newer one. And we
Sure.
saw five, The Red Door, at one of our dates when we first met. So, we watched the entire run, and you know, they're you know,
Yeah.
it's like the fifth one was actually not bad. Actually, conceptually, there's some cool stuff going on in there.
Usually by the time you get to the fifth of anything, it's completely petered out.
Yeah, usually, but this I feel like it got more interesting as it went on.
Yeah,
So
yeah, the first Insidious, I feel like the first hour is great, and then it fell off a cliff. It became very James Wan-y, for lack of a better expression.
I'm not a fan of his filmmaking.
Me neither.
Yeah. And then we watched Ring 2 last night.
The Japanese one,
No.
the American one.
Yeah,
Oh, that
yeah,
was terrible. That was really
yeah.
bad.
Yeah. So there's three. There's a third one too, you know.
I did not know that. I
Yeah.
can't believe Naomi Watts came back for that. That was such a steep drop in quality. And that was, I believe, the director of Ring 2, the American one, is the director of Ringu.
It is. Yes. And Ringu is awesome, you
Yeah.
know. Yeah. Did you like the first Ring?
I did actually.
Yeah.
I saw that on tour in Athens, Georgia in 2002. On the night I met my first wife.
Oh, right on.
Yeah, and I remember I was pleasantly surprised that a PG-13 studio horror film could be so good and actually scary.
Yeah, I enjoyed it, man. I mean, I always like skew more towards the originals, and like, you
Yeah.
know, I have really come to appreciate that era of Japanese cinema.
Hmm.
And so yeah, I'm more of a fan of those films, but the American, that was the thing in the early 2000s, was like the US remaking foreign films, foreign horror films, like either from Japan or France, you
I
know?
think The Ring kicked that all off.
Yeah. And that was kind of a drag, you
Yeah,
know?
it was a big hit.
Yeah, yeah, totally.
Yeah.
And then I read a book this past week called Nowhere by Allison Gunn, a brand new, her first novel actually.
Mm.
And my wife read it and she turned me on to it, and it was great. It really was. It was I'm going to try to get her on the Everything Went Black podcast.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Yeah. But it's folk horror with like a sort of Appalachian twist to it. So there's like a little,
Ooh,
it's got like, you know, the Black-Eyed Children and like some local folk horror, and a little bit because it involves law enforcement. So there's like a little bit of this like true detective, you know, flavor to it.
this sounds very intriguing. I like it already.
Yeah, she's got one book out. I'm sure there's a short story collection floating around somewhere, but this is her first novel, and she's got another one coming out next year. So yeah, definitely keep your eye out for it.
Yeah, maybe they'll make that into a film. It sounds ready to go.
It's very cinematic, definitely.
Yeah, every book I read, I feel like I turn into a movie in my head.
Yeah. And are you familiar with that the Roanoke disappearance like the 18 I think it was like 1587 or something like that. There was like
Oh, no,
an entire town just vanished.
no.
Like
Wait,
all the
this is
people just left and in back in the 1500s this happened in
really,
colonial America. Yeah.
this is true. This is like a real thing.
This is a true story that happened where this town just vanished. Like everyone in this town just disappeared.
Wow.
All
Yeah,
right.
yeah, no, I don't. Something about that sounds familiar, but I don't know. I really can't say I know too much about that at all.
It's probably in like, like yeah, like some, strange but true type websites or whatever. It's something that people talk about. And so there's a little twinge of that in this book too. So
Hmm.
it's a good book, man. It's a really, really well written too. Like the just it's very well edited. It's just under 300 pages. It's like
Oh, wow, that's short.
but it's short. However, it builds and it's like there's a good it's like almost it's a slow burn, but it moves along. I know that sounds odd, but
No, I get it.
yeah, the pacing is excellent, but it's just slowly ramps up and then the end is just, out of control.
It's like a Godspeed You Black Emperor song.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I love stuff like that. I live in Connecticut again, which is steep in so much interesting, like supernatural sort of stories and history and stuff like that. So what you just said about that disappearance really kind of intrigued me.
Yeah, yeah, totally, man. So
I'm
that's
gonna you got to text that title to me when we're done here.
I'll do one better, man. I'll send you the Amazon link to it.
Perfect. Yeah, you read this, not like a audiobook. You actually
Dude, I don't
physically.
fuck with art. What are you kidding me, man? I know how to read, dude. I don't fuck around with audiobooks.
I've recently only started doing that when I started doing these podcasts on the Horror Wolf there with Brandon when we're doing our Stephen King thing. I kind of like don't start reading the book till like 3 weeks before we're supposed to record. I'm like, oh shit, how am I going to do this quickly? So that's when I got into audiobooks.
Mm.
I much prefer actually reading though. I think it's much easier to focus. It's way easier for your mind to sort of go other places if you're driving and listening to a
Yeah.
story.
Yeah, I don't mess around with audiobooks.
Yeah,
I mean,
right on.
I'll do an ebook on Kindle, obviously it's the same thing as reading. It's reading, I
Pretty
like that.
much. Yeah.
And that's it for me, man. Like just living life here, But
Yeah.
yeah, let's shout out the other horsemen.
Let's do it.
If you're listening to this by now, you know that we are part of a cabal of content creators known as the Horsemen of the Podcasting Apocalypse. Kicking everything off every other Monday, we've got Brandon Legion, Horror Wolf 666. Tuesday, Jackie Smith brings us into the Necrosphere, the greatest extreme music podcast in the land. Wednesday is Everything Went Black, my flagship podcast that I started, I don't know, back in the late 70s or something like that. And you kind of get a little bit of everything on that one. Lately, I've been doing a lot of this kind of literary stuff, which is fun. Yeah. We also have we have Cheyenne's Iblis Manifestations, which comes to you also on Wednesdays. Thursday is Necro Thursday, so you're listening to the Necromaniacs podcast right now. It is also day one of Soul Knox, brought to you by Carl Hikara for all things dark and sinister. Friday, Spitball Media comes at you, and that is a pop culture podcast that covers sometimes they intersect with stuff that we talk about, but
Mm.
they cover a lot more. Sports, pro wrestling, comics, non-horror films, things like that. Saturday is a day off. In the northern hemisphere, it's summertime. So don't forget your sunblock, stay hydrated, that sort of thing. Because Sunday, Carl Hikara returns with day two of Soul Knox. And Carl and I are in the final stretch of our Darkness Weaves collaboration, where we discuss the work of Carl Edward Wagner. Right now, we are doing his Robert E. Howard pastiche novel featuring the character Bran MacMorn called Legions from the Shadows. So we're swapping episodes where we cover that. Probably about 3 episodes to cover that entire book. And that's all. That's the whole 9 yards, man.
There you go.
If you want to hit us on the Necro phone, you could reach us at 908-913-0782. And we have returning caller, Mike from Pennsylvania.
Necro Hoods. It's Mike from Telford. I just got done seeing Anti-Scene 3 days in a row here, so my voice is pretty fucking rough. Just wanted to say, saw a band in Philly last night called Salik, Salik. They were fucking excellent. Check them out. And the lineup of Wide Eye that's going on right now was fucking excellent. They sounded incredible. Seen them a bunch of times, but this lineup they got now is really something. And of course, I should have called before any of this. If you haven't seen Anti-Scene live, you're fucking missing out. So, been watching a lot of Alfred Hitchcock movies at the house lately, and it actually got my lady on a Perry Mason kick. And we watched the Hitchcock movies with Joan Fontaine, Rebecca, and Suspicion, and that got us to watching The Witches, the Hammer film, The Witches. That was really excellent too. And I'll be calling again when my voice isn't so fucked up. But if you guys behave yourselves or don't, really that's the way to go. All right. Show's been great as always, fellas. Talk to you soon. Tavis from Pittsburgh was at the Pittsburgh Anti-Scene show with me. We're fucking bros. We're brothers, man. I love that guy. That was a great time there. Being in Pittsburgh with Tavis was fucking great. So, it was a real highlight. I'm fucking rambling. I'm half out of my mind right now. Later, fellas.
Thanks for calling in, Mike. You must have had a lot of fun, man. Because your voice is like, pretty jacked. But that's awesome, man. And Anti-Scene, dude, that's features Malcolm Tent, our friend
From Trash, right?
Yeah, he's in Anti-Scene. He also spent some time playing in Profanatica when we did that tour with them. Malcolm also played bass for Profanatica.
I didn't know he was in Anti-Scene.
Yeah, man, for years now.
He's not an original member, though.
No.
Oh, okay. All right.
No.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That sounds fun. Yeah, and also he mentioned Hitchcock. Are you a big Hitchcock fan, Mike?
I am. I definitely. I prefer his. I mean, come on now. Like he's a master of the craft.
Yeah, I have to say I have not seen a ton of Hitchcock films.
I mean, he has a lot of films when you really count everything that he did.
Yeah, I mean, I know I've seen the big ones: Psycho, The Birds, North by Northwest, The Rear Window, and I think that's it. And I know he's got like great films out there. I don't know, just never got to him.
Yeah, The Rear Window and Psycho are probably my two favorites.
Yeah, Psycho is it's a masterpiece. But yeah, that's about. I know. No, I saw Strangers on a Train a long time ago. But some of his some of his other films, I don't know, went unnoticed by me apparently.
I'm a big Hammer guy, so yeah, The Witches is really cool. That's a cool movie. I feel like there's been this like revitalization of interest in Hammer.
Really?
I see it popping up. There's like Evolution of Horror has like a sub show that is dedicated just to the Hammer films.
Oh wow.
Yeah, which is cool. And they don't cover the obvious ones like the Dracula ones. They do like the more obscure Hammer movies.
Like The Creeping Flesh.
Dude, it's funny that you mentioned that because that movie, I love that movie.
I like that one too. Yeah, I watched that in Spain on tour on a beach and drinking like beer by myself.
Wow.
So I have like a weird fondness for that movie.
That's a sleeper, man, for sure.
I agree, man. I don't see anyone ever when I bring that up. Most people seem to have not seen that one.
No, it's a good one. That was like something I saw on television when I was like a kid, like on Channel 9 or whatever.
Yeah. Didn't they try to revitalize Hammer about a decade ago?
Yeah, and it just didn't have the same luster.
I know, dude, that American Woman in Black remake was one of the more disappointing things I've ever seen. It was a remake of a incredible film. It had the Hammer name to it. I thought that was going to be incredible, and it was very generic and of the time of that PG-13 studio horror film. Like it looked great, the cinematography and all that, but I found it very disappointing.
Yeah, no, Yeah, you got to really come correct when you do like remakes, man.
Yeah, I think there's an atmosphere to those British horror films that if the film doesn't have that, it doesn't work.
I also I love that we bring people together, man. So it's cool that you hung
Yeah.
out with Tavis. I'll be in Pittsburgh in the fall, man. We're playing. This hasn't been announced yet, but we're playing a festival out there called Descendants of Crom.
Mm,
Yeah, so it's like a
okay.
two. I think it's a 2 day heavy metal festival in Pittsburgh.
Okay, great. So yeah, Toombs is back on the road then.
Well, not really on the road.
You know, a couple shows here and there.
Yeah, just there's a lot going on right now. I mean,
There is.
the
Yes.
house. I'm trying to get my shit together to move. It's like it's been the last several months have been very like I've been preoccupied with lifestyle shit. Life stuff, not lifestyle stuff, but like getting my
I
thing
gotcha.
together. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? So
yeah,
it's like
yeah.
going out on like a 6 week tour would probably not really work right now for me.
Yeah.
So, but
Well,
we are staying busy. Like this weekend coming, we have the Dark Arts Festival in Providence, and
yeah,
then
that's right.
at the end of the in the fall, we're going to be playing that thing in Pittsburgh.
Nice. I haven't been to Pittsburgh in a very long time.
Yeah, it's it's like a 7 hour drive from here.
Yeah.
So
I haven't been on tour in a very long time. I'm doing nothing. So if anyone wants me to go on a 6 week tour, I'm available. Give me a call.
don't say that, man.
Yeah, I'm gonna get a
Yeah,
call from like the worst band ever.
yeah, man. But I mean, you never know. But
Yeah. I don't want to go on tour for 6 weeks.
no, no,
That ended a long time ago, man.
yeah.
Yeah, fuck that.
But yeah, so yeah, but Providence, we're looking forward to that. The Dark Arts Festival, that's going to be fun. It's
Great,
not
great
just
city too. I love
oh,
Providence.
dude, yeah. And you know what, man? I think I've said this before, but I feel like I like playing in Providence, and I feel like we got a decent amount of fans in that town.
Yeah, Providence is such a weird, creepy little town. It makes perfect sense that Lovecraft was, made that his home.
Also, like there Providence has got like a little more of a artsier vibe than some other New England cities,
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to that. Should be fun.
Hell yeah. Great
Um,
record stores in Providence,
oh yeah.
allegedly, too, I'm told.
Yep, yep. So we're playing at AS 220, which is like a
Oh,
cool venue,
yeah. God, I can't believe that place is still there. Wow.
still there. Yep.
Wow. When I was in cable in high school, we played there.
Yeah. I think this year is one of the Necronomicon years too in Providence, which would have been sick if this was somehow part of that, but it's not. So
Hell yeah. Oh, well. Next time.
yeah.
I love you so much. A love only the branch of a willow tree could conjure.
It's weird how you two are dating all of a sudden. Like super dating.
I think Nikki is going through something.
Like what? Is she okay?
No.
Jeez, what kind of spells you put on her?
So that brings us to this week's feature film, Obsession.
Mm.
Yeah. A brand new movie.
Yes.
Yeah. It was written and directed by Curry Barker, who you all might know him from his YouTube film, Milk and Cereal. Have you
I
seen
have
it?
not heard of this guy before this film. No.
Yeah, this is his debut feature film.
Yeah. I was unaware of his YouTube channel, though.
Yeah.
Is what I meant. Yeah.
Yeah. And Mike watched this. Mike told me about it last year.
Oh.
And I watched it and it was good. I enjoyed it.
He's more of a comedy guy, right? Like there's his channel is like a little bit more skewed towards comedy. Am
Well,
I right?
I think so, but I only watched Milk and Cereal though.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't watch any of the comedy stuff. I gotten really sour on comedy. I've never really been a big fan, but these days I really despise comedy, except unless it's Anthony Jeselnik, honestly.
Mm. It has gone in a darker direction, yes, but that's a story for another podcast, I guess.
Yeah. It seems like 2026 is the year of the sort of non-traditional filmmakers getting their shot at making feature films?
Yeah, absolutely. This summer has been dominated by this film we're about to talk about and Backrooms.
Yeah,
Both seem to be cultural phenomenons. I mean, everyone is going to see these movies.
I back it. I really do. I like that these young people are doing interesting things. They're not just like, wasting their time. This was released September 5th, 2025 in the Toronto Film Festival in TIFF.
Hmm.
And then it was properly released May 15th, 2026 in the US and is 109 minutes long. Yeah.
Yep.
Pretty lean cast. We've got Michael Johnston as Bear Bailey, Indy Navarrete as Nikki, and that's she's gonna a big part in this film. Cooper Tomlinson is Ian. That's one of Bear's friends, or Bear and Nikki's friends. Actually, Bear and Nikki and Ian are that their relationship is a little bit more than friends. Megan Lawless as Sarah Harper, another friend of theirs. Andy Richter as Carter, who is the guy, their boss at the music store. They all work at a music store, which I found kind of odd, actually.
I'm glad you mentioned that. I did too.
Yeah. Then we got some other people.
Yeah, that's pretty much the whole cast is like these four friends.
I want to mention that Curry Barker has a voice in this film.
Yes, that's right. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't know that, but I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah. So yeah, they work in a music store.
Yeah.
That's a very untraditional, bizarre, like plot, like setting for a modern film. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I completely agree. Like, it was, yeah, like it almost feels like if this was a 90s film, that would make more sense for some reason.
But even they sell instruments there and they give lessons.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's odd. I mean, it would be almost, I mean, it would be an anachronism, but it would be even more logical if they worked in like a record store,
Yeah, it's weird. I bought my Rickenbacker bass. It was the second bass I ever owned back in '92 at a music shop like that. They sold instruments and they gave lessons in the back room.
Yeah,
that place is still there down the street from me.
I guess they still exist, but places like Sam Ash and Guitar Center, and then buying shit from Sweetwater and stuff like that, I feel like has really taken a big chunk out of those mom and pop stores.
Right, yeah, and they work at a mom and pop store. Like it's not like a big Guitar Center type of thing. It's this very small operation. I guess it goes to show sort of like this young and maybe a little directionless vibe that the characters, especially the main character Bear, seems to have.
Yeah, so all these kids work together at this place, and there's like these like threads that sort of connect them all romantically, or there's crushes and there's like behind the scenes shit going on between all of them.
Right, but you're really not aware of the behind the scenes stuff till much later in the film.
Yeah. So Bear has this brutal crush on Nikki. Okay. And, in his mind, like she's like the ultimate for him, and so it opens up where he's running through this monologue of him proclaiming his feelings to her with his friend Ian. And they're in this, like, it looks like a diner or something like that.
I loved this opening.
Yeah. It's so cringy and like uncomfortable.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, it was great. He's rehearsing it with the waitress, like at who's waiting on them.
Yeah.
And his friend Ian is sort of coaching him through this whole thing, and he's embarrassed to how vulnerable he is. And of course, I don't know anyone who would actually go through with something like that. You know what I mean?
No, I mean, and that just goes into. So, all right, what are your thoughts on Bear? Like, this is important that we go over this.
All right. There's a lot of debate about the character of Bear. I don't know if you've noticed that. I had my own thoughts about it, and
let's hear your thoughts on it.
Yeah,
The people are definitely talking about him. Definitely.
Yeah. Okay. The big debate is Bear the villain of the film. I think yes, and a little bit no.
Really?
Yeah, I
Okay.
think Bear is, like I said, maybe a little directionless, a little in his own head, shy, unable to fully express himself, and also maybe a little bit entitled. No, actually, maybe more than a little bit,
Mm.
I'd say. Um, he probably thinks of himself as a nice guy. Why doesn't this girl like me? Well, woe is me, blah, blah, blah. Uh, so I don't want to say Bear's kind of a loser or anything, but I just think he's sort of more in his own head and like a sad kind of guy. We see that introduction to him. This is kind of embarrassing. He comes home and finds his cat dead from I guess it was taking either like he got into the either the oxy he had or the sleeping pills. I can't quite remember.
Yeah.
And it shows him crying over his cat and everything. So you start off the film feeling kind of sympathetic for this guy, but that really changes by the end of the film.
Yeah, I mostly agree with you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there's a little bit of like a cool like unreliable narrator aspect to this too.
Yeah, okay, yeah, no, I see what you mean by that. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, because your Bear is presented to you as this like, more or less sympathetic guy because he's shy and there's this woman who is perceived as being out of his league, but he really has feelings for her, quote unquote. Okay.
Yeah.
Quote unquote feelings. Okay. My take on Bear is that he's a fucking loser. Like if we were like in Roman times or something like that, this guy would be removed from the fucking gene pool, if you ask me. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Yeah.
Little harsh, but okay.
Yeah. He wouldn't make it in like, in the hunter gatherer society that we came from.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, so I have a harsher perspective on him. And it gets worse as time goes on in this film.
Oh, absolutely. I agree with you there.
Yeah.
We've all been okay, maybe I can't say we all. I can remember being young. Maybe not. I think Bear's what's supposed to be like 22, 23-ish. I think by then I'd kind of grown out of some of those feelings, but I remember kind of having a crush on someone and thinking, well, why don't they like me? I'm great. You know what I mean? And the older you get, you sort of grow out of that. Hopefully you grow out of that. I know I did.
Right, but you never victimized any of these women though.
No, definitely not.
Yeah, so that's the differential right there. It's like obviously everyone, men, it's hard. I mean, look, it's hard. I don't want to, woe is us, but it's like men are in this society that we live in generally are supposed to be the ones to make the first move, right? Now that's can be a Herculean effort if you have a little bit of insecurity, right?
But yeah, I mean, but maybe like the that chivalrous sort of thing. I think that's maybe an old fashioned thing that like the newer generations don't really adhere to. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I mean, nowadays people just go on the internet and pick people and whatever, and then hope for the best. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a different vibe these days.
Yeah. But I mean, like, in this setting here, and it's not really confirmed when this is taking place either. I mean, we already discussed the fact that they're working in a music shop, So
that's true.
It has a little bit of that old timiness to it,
It does. I think people talk about how timely this movie is. This film could have been released in the 80s, the 90s, and I think it would have worked.
They think that this movie is modern people generally.
I've been seeing that, called
so.
like timely. But you mentioned something interesting too about never victimizing anyone, and that's where like the debate about Bear gets interesting. Is did he knowingly victimize her?
Well, I think that knowingly. I think that now knowingly is buried beneath his completely weak character.
Yeah.
It's like if you're a weak person, right? you might not knowingly do something horrible, but you lack the strength of character to do the right thing. And in your mind, it makes perfect sense to do something shitty, and that's what we're faced with here, I think, with Bear.
Right. But here's what Okay, so we've established that Bear is, infatuated, obsessed with Nikki. Nikki kind of sees him as a brother, a friend. This is like, good guy to like pal around with. He wants to tell her how he feels. She loses some sort of necklace. I guess she's into like crystals, and he goes to replace the crystal at this, I don't know,
Like a witchcraft shop or
yeah,
something like
witchcraft.
that. Yeah.
There's one in every fucking town, it seems like. But instead, he buys this novelty gift of One Wish Willow. Now, he's unable to express how he feels in the car when Nikki point blank says, "If you like me, now's the time to tell me," and he can't do it. So instead, he, in a moment of frustration and self pity, says, "I wish Nikki loved me more than anything else in the world." He snaps the thing, and everything changes. Now, there is no way he did that maliciously, thinking that this would, there's no way anyone would think that that would work. So, in that sense, it's not like this. Fully expected this film to be very generic and go the generic route at every step. And at every step, it didn't do that. Like, I thought like he'd be taken somewhere to like a witch doctor or something, like I can make her fall
Yeah.
in love with you. That would be malicious. That would be knowingly entrapping someone. But he doesn't do that. He
Mm.
just sort of offhandedly does
Yeah.
this dumb thing,
Yeah. I don't know.
but almost immediately senses something's off. You
I
don't agree?
I don't agree, and I'll tell you why.
Okay.
If this dude, if he had not had such a golden opportunity as he did, right? Like he's sitting there in a car, they're alone, right? He's kind of beating around the bush about his feelings, right?
Yeah.
And then she's like, "Now's the time to tell me,"
Right.
and he just couldn't walk through the fucking door, dude.
Right.
The door was open, man. It was
It
like wide
wide
open.
open.
And who knows what her response would have been, but at least like he had to take his shot, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then she walks away, disappointed, right? And that's where the weakness of character comes in,
Sure.
where it's like, I just, that's what I'm trying to say. Like, I like that weak move of doing that is so telling about him as a person.
Mm.
Even though he might not have, who knows, you don't believe these things, like whatever. It's like, you know, um, you know, I mean, full disclosure, I do a lot of like kind of like ritualistic, work, like meditating on things with intention, stuff like that, to help me visualize stuff in my life. And
Mm-hmm.
I got to be honest with you, for the most part, it works. And whether or not, I'm not saying there's like this, energy out there that's actually helping me, but if it's something that meditation might assemble my thoughts to actually actualize some of these things, right? So
Mm-hmm.
that's what I look at ritual as. Okay. But that's the thing. He wants to do something like that without by taking this shortcut with this device that he has in his hand.
Right. Yeah. No, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
And
That's
whether or not he believed it or not it's just weak fucking sauce, dude.
right. Again, I think it was a moment of frustration for him. Like, again, to like, throwing your hands up, punching the steering wheel, something. I don't think he thought that this would work.
But
But yeah. Okay. Go ahead.
all right, but it did work.
It did work.
Okay.
And he notices something is off almost immediately. I think Bear's villainy comes from he never does the right thing. He never
Yeah.
tries. He is doing everything he can to ignore what the reality of his situation.
And in the beginning though, things are good.
Well, sort of.
No,
she
they show him
digs up
their-
his dead cat.
Well, no, right, but there are all right, so there's some rough spots, but there's a whole montage of them making breakfast together and having sex and
Yeah.
and they're a couple,
Yeah.
and so now we also learned that Sarah had a crush on Bear, right?
Yes.
The
yes.
other lady that works there, who I thought was way cooler than Nikki.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I can't really say for sure. They're not like completely defined at that point in the film.
Yeah.
In the beginning.
I mean, at the end of the day, I thought Sarah was like more
Mm.
interesting than Nikki was. Nikki
We
was
didn't
like,
really get to spend a lot of time with the actual Nikki, though.
no, because we see her under this enchantment through the entire movie.
I really liked in the beginning too, with her struggling with almost fighting with the what's taking her over in the beginning when she comes out and she's talking to him through the window of the car and she's like, I'm acting so weird. You know
Yeah,
what I
it's
mean?
like she's almost aware of what's going on.
And that makes it so much more terrifying. The little hints we get of the real Nikki being trapped in this hell.
Um, yeah, so this movie also has strains of like that monkey's paw sort of trope, that is in a lot of horror films.
Yeah, be
You
careful
know,
what you wish for.
careful
Yeah.
what you wish for. So Ian and Sarah both are like, this is weird that you
Mm.
guys are suddenly this like couple.
Yeah, I can imagine it seems very, very odd to them. And they're sort of doing some digging around in the background, some sleuthing, and Bear gets a call saying, well, Nikki's dad doesn't have cancer, so that doesn't explain why she's acting weird. And she said she only thought of you as a friend and a brother. And that is when we get a real sign that something is very off. They're in a restaurant, and he brings this up to Nikki, and she basically causes a scene,
Yeah.
and it's horrific. And yet, like, your sympathy still sort of lays with Nikki in that, because that's not the real her. She's watching herself make this scene.
Yeah, she's totally like not like she's in the thrall of this force, and Bear is the one that brought this whole thing on,
And at this point, Bear clearly knows something is wrong, and that's when he really fails to do the right thing. And that, for me, is sort of when he became a lot less sympathetic to me. Like, there was still like this shred of me hoping like this guy is gonna do the right thing, but he never does. And that moment, and then that night, she starts to even like walk in a strange way. She's watching him sleep. She's walking in reverse. It's clearly very, very off, and he knows it. But he in his mind is still trying to make this work. He is so obsessed with her. He's trying to figure out how to fix it, but fix it in a way that only benefits him.
Yeah, there's no sense of empathy for her at all. Like, he just wants the things to be good for him again,
Right, exactly. I mean, to the point where he had this. My favorite part is like when he calls the customer service number.
Yeah, that's my favorite part too.
That was like weirdly. There's like a Polanski-esque black humor in this movie.
Yeah,
and that part was very funny and horrific. Like, he calls and he, when he's like, "Can I cancel the wish?" and he's like, "Well, you want to cancel?" He's like, "Well, maybe just alter it."
Yeah.
Like, he's like, "Oh, how can I make this work? Nikki still loves me, but just doesn't love me as much." And that really kind of shows his true character.
Yeah, and that's what I'm getting at, man. It's like he's not really, like he's not a good guy, and when you have like these lowered morals and are a weak person, this is the kind of shit that happens to you.
Right. Yeah. It's who was that on the other end? Do you
That
think?
was,
I mean,
well, all right. Well,
we know who it was.
yeah.
The acting.
Curry Barker was the guy.
Right.
But that's the thing. That's what's really funny. It's like, who was actually that was on the customer service line?
And this is one of the things the film does so well, and how it avoids major horror movie cliches and pitfalls. Like, I fully expected to see, my favorite, the Google scene, where he's reading Google out loud and he tracks someone down who tells him how to, break the curse. We don't get any of that.
Well, we do. We get a little bit of like the Reddit stuff where people are like, "This is totally bullshit. Oh, this ruined my life." Like, there's all like different accounts of what happened with with this thing, the Willow.
Right. And it ended there. He didn't try to track anyone down from that thread or anything like that.
There was a
He
number though.
Yeah, but yeah, there was a phone number that he calls, and that was just such a great scene. It kind of reminded me of The Substance a little when
Yeah. Yep.
yeah, I got a lot of like Substance and Get Out vibes from this movie. I could see those as clear influences on the director.
Yeah, totally. Totally.
But it doesn't go that route. This is a major hit. It's a Blumhouse movie. I kept expecting it to go down those horror tropes, and it doesn't. And the movie is so much better off for it.
Yeah. I don't know if we should spoil this because it's still making the rounds.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
but yeah, it's my assessment of this whole thing is really like Bear is like one of those dudes who would slip like a roofie to some woman at a party or something like that. You know what I mean?
But still try to justify it as like make himself in his head not the bad guy.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with that. There's a great party scene in this movie
Yeah.
where it's clear everyone's like, what the fuck is going on? And he's just like, yeah, like just acting like this is like, you can clearly tell he doesn't think it's normal, but he's trying to act like, that's just Nikki. There's one scene I didn't understand in this film, and minor spoiler. Nikki sort of, I guess, hurts herself. Because the real Nikki kind of like starts like stabbing herself in the face. He takes her to the hospital, and the next scene she's in bed. Like the hospital didn't accept her. I did not understand that part at all.
Yeah, me neither, really. I mean, why wouldn't she's like injured, obviously?
Yeah, that really was like, I guess the one thing that really kind of, I guess you could call like a plot hole, or like it was something I just didn't catch or didn't understand.
And then the other thing too is like I want to touch on, and it's like, all right, so Bear and Sarah actually have kind of a nice little friendship there.
Yeah, they have this natural sort of chemistry that clearly he doesn't have with Nikki.
And we also discover something about Nikki and Ian. That Ian, the whole time, fully aware that his buddy has a crush on Nikki, has been behind the scenes cheating on his girlfriend with Nikki.
Yeah, which makes you like think very lowly of Ian.
And Nikki,
not that Well, I don't know. Nikki doesn't really owe anyone anything, and
but the fact that like the dude's got a girlfriend and like there's like that sucks.
Yeah, hey, but shit happens,
Yeah, but also,
I try not to pass judgment.
Yeah.
But you know what? Also, like that whole bro code thing doesn't totally fly with me. That like, oh, you like a girl, so I can't like her. To me, that's bullshit.
Well,
But,
I would think that that's not really the thing. The thing is the concealment of that. Like that sucks.
I think a good friend would be like, instead of like making him go through this humiliating thing in the diner, like, hey man, listen,
Yeah,
I know you're into Nikki, but like, there's kind of a thing going on. Then it just makes Ian a much more sinister sort of character,
right,
in my eyes. Yeah,
that he's like concealing this whole thing from his buddy, and it makes. I mean, from my opinion is that like Nikki shouldn't be banging some dude with a girlfriend. That shows to me personally that she's a little bit under the standards. You know what I mean?
sure, okay, I can see that, but it doesn't really change my opinion of her.
And in Bear's mind, like she's this like elevated, sort of like woman. Now,
Right.
what I was trying to say though is like Sarah is like they have a lot in common, man. Like they're friends, they spend time together. They confide in each other. Sarah's an attractive lady too. Yet
And she's got ambition.
yeah, she's cool. Like she's like like into art and all this stuff. And it's like it's the whole monkey's paw thing.
Right.
Be careful what you wish for. Okay.
Yeah.
Like if he had just been realistic about his life and people around him had leveled with him about what actually is going on, You know, say Ian told him, like, you know, I know you like Nikki, you dig her, but like, you know, I'm like have this thing going on with her. He might have been like, you know what, that fucking grosses me out, and I'm not into her anymore, and maybe I'll spend time with Sarah.
Or if he did tell her and he still wished, that would make it more like of a sinister intent.
Mm, yeah, yeah, exactly. Well, but I mean, we've already established that Bear is a sinister character, so yeah,
Yeah,
you
right.
probably wouldn't have, but in an ideal circumstance, you would have been that would have been a more healthy way of going about things, you know.
Yeah. Why do you think this movie is such a massive, massive hit? I mean, this movie has, in its second week, outgrossed what it made in the first week. This movie kept getting more and more popular. It is going to break $200 million domestically. Um, this movie has buried a Star Wars film.
Well, that's
This
cool.
is a monster hit. And it is not this crowd pleasing roller coaster ride horror movie like something like the Conjuring. It is not an easy film to swallow. It's dark. The
Mm.
it ends. No, don't want to completely spoil it, but this is a dark movie,
Yeah,
and
no, totally.
I'm just was kind of blown away by how this film is not at all what I was expecting. And I was just wondering what about this is connected with people. Um, why? I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me.
I don't know because I didn't really think the movie was that great, honestly. So I don't know why it's resonating with them so much. You know, I mean, it's beyond me, really.
Well, I work with some younger people. I hear all these different takes on the film. I mean, everyone is talking about this. I talked to someone who thought this movie was really like a warning about how having a girlfriend will ruin your life. And I
What?
was like, man, you've completely misread that movie.
That's some fucking incel like Joe Rogan shit, man. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, the kids aren't, not all the kids are all right, man.
Yeah.
I completely
That's
agree
some
with
like
you.
Andrew Tate style shit.
Yes, yes. Um, this film is also generating a lot of controversy from people who worked on the film. I don't know if you saw this, but right before we were recording it, I saw the art director of this film made a post saying that she only got paid $7,000 for a movie that is going to break 250 million. Um, and there's a lot of debate about indie films, successive indie films, who should get paid more after something is a big hit.
I don't know, man.
So like every aspect of this movie is becoming some sort of a conversation piece. This movie was supposed to be streaming 3 weeks ago,
Mm.
but they held that back because it is making boatloads of cash. Um, I can't explain the cultural phenomenon that is obsession, but I am really, really glad that it is. For me, I think this is the best horror movie of the year.
Oh,
And
really?
it's
Wow.
one of the best horror movies I've seen in a long time. And the
So,
fact that it's connecting like this, I mean, it can only be a good thing. The only thing think is we're going to get like a prequel and a
uh,
sequel, and it's going to fucking ruin everything. But
yeah, I hope not.
as it stands right now as a standalone piece, I think this is one of the best horror movie, if not the best of the year. You seem to feel differently though, so
So wait, what would you score it at?
I 4.5.
Really? Okay, that's
Yeah,
cool.
maybe I don't know. I might even go as high as a 5. I saw this 2 weeks ago. It's not fresh in my head,
Mm.
so sorry if all of my thoughts aren't streamlined here. But it stayed with me. I left the theater thinking about it. And again, like it just was not what I was expecting. I did not think this movie would be this dark.
Yeah.
And this, it's funny, it's dark, it's complicated. I think it does a lot in its shortish running time. I think this director's instincts are spot on in where he chooses to take his storytelling, what he shows you, what he doesn't show you. I really expect great things from this guy. I think he's immensely talented and only 26 years old. He has a really long, interesting career ahead of him.
Yeah, I didn't feel the same way about it. I right quick, I was like, yeah, this is the same monkey's paw shit. with a guy that would roofie a girl at a party. Like basically, you know what I mean? And I was just
Right.
like, oh, be careful what you wish for, and it's like, I don't know, I just didn't dig it, and I thought Bear was whack, and I thought that he
You should put that on a poster. Bear was whack.
he represents like the worst possible type of man out there in some ways.
Right, but
You
you're
know?
not supposed to like him though.
No, I know that, but I'm just saying, like, of course things don't work out for him, is what I'm trying to say. You know what I
Right.
mean? There's like everything to me followed this trajectory that I felt was put into motion. Like, and I was like, oh, this is how it's going to end up. I didn't really know it was going to end up exactly like it did, but I knew that this was where it was heading.
Mm.
And I just didn't enjoy it. I didn't find the characters that interesting, and like the yeah, I don't know.
See,
Like, the part that I really liked though is when he called the helpline. That was it.
that I thought was one of the best scenes in the movie. Again, sort of sums it up. It's dark. It's funny. It doesn't really try to explain itself. It just asks the audience to accept, like, yeah, there's a hotline for this supernatural wish thing.
Yeah.
I thought that was really funny. And I like the ending a lot. I don't think it gives anyone any sort of way out. I was waiting for some sort of like neat wrap up to this whole thing. And it
Well,
doesn't go that way. It ends on a very, very down note.
in a way, it does have a neat wrap up if you think about it.
Yeah, but okay, maybe it's not a good one.
Mm,
Nikki's future is not a. I mean, Nikki's fucked,
yeah.
and none of this is her fault. None of this is her doing.
Mm, true.
Nikki does not deserve her fate. I think, and the scenes of the real Nikki coming through are some of the most horrific parts of the movie. Again, man, I really enjoyed this. I know the monkey's paw is a familiar sort of trope. I thought this was a good take on it.
Yeah. I
So
give it
what-
like I give it like a 3 out of 3.5.
Okay, so
No.
worth seeing for you. That's like a B minus.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't like it wasn't terrible, you know what I mean? It was like not like the worst thing I've ever seen, but it just wasn't compelling for me.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I disagree. And I know you went with someone who hated it, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Interesting.
My wife hated it, but like I mean, she doesn't, I'm not going to base everything on what her feelings are. I just like at the end of the day after we finished watching the movie, we were talking about it, and I was just like I was like, I don't even have like hatred for it. I just wasn't really interested. You know what I mean? I guess that's really what it comes down to. It's like and maybe this is just like a personal preference to types of films or types of fiction that I like or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like I just felt like it wasn't really that interesting to me as a film.
Okay.
I get the messaging and all that, and the old tropes of the monkey's paw, and it's like, yeah, I don't know. It just wasn't for me.
See, yeah, when you talk about the messaging, that's again one thing I like a lot about this film. It doesn't really tell you how to feel. It doesn't completely beat you over the head with its politics. And that shows in like the debate about this film. Is Bear the bad guy? Is he the victim?
I don't even see how he could be the victim, to be honest.
I don't either, but the fact that people are coming out with like such different ideas about the film really shows that like this director trusted his audience. Like, this is just what I'm going to show you.
I mean, if you
Come to your conclusions.
If you see Bear as the victim, you got a problem. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I completely agree with you. And like I said, that one guy I talked to, I was like, man, you did not understand this film at all. But hey, like again, like it doesn't beat you over the head. So someone with I guess weirder ideas can come to that conclusion. I don't know. But yeah, I hope to see a lot more from this guy. Hopefully he plays around in the horror genre some more.
Yeah, I mean, I'm interested to see what he does next.
Yeah,
So,
and like,
yeah.
you know what? This is going to be like the Nirvana signing landslide of like 91, where every fucking indie band got signed to a major label. This is what's going to happen with like YouTubers. And we're gonna see like absolute garbage in the next like year or two of like YouTubers who don't know what the fuck they're doing.
Oh, yeah,
But
that's going to be easy. Yeah, for sure.
yeah, so you're just gonna be throwing piles of cash at YouTubers now, hoping to duplicate this kind of success.
Yeah,
Like when Shudder to Think got signed to a major label, like someone thought that was a great idea. They were gonna make tons of money with that band.
I know, right? Yeah,
Nothing against Shudder to
great
Think, they're
band,
amazing, yeah. But
but
like,
not. Yeah,
yeah, a major label that they weren't. They were too weird for indie people, let
yeah,
alone major label stuff.
yeah.
So I predict we're going to see a lot more of that, and I just don't think everyone is going to have the same skill set that this guy or Kane Parsons has, or whatever his name is.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Well, there you go, guys. I definitely want to hear what other people have to say about this. So drop us some comments and let us know what you think about this film.
Yes, are you team Mike or are you team Jeff?
Yeah,
well,
that's how we're gonna do it. All right.
you sort of didn't like it, sort of thought it was okay. I loved it. I'm very curious where other people lie on this, because like I said, man, the opinions are all over the place on this. Even the person I went to see it with was like, yeah, it was fine. But
Yeah.
I got something more out of it, I guess, and that's okay.
All right.
All right.